So welcome everyone, and thank you very much for being here. My name is Andrea. I'm one of the co-founders of the European Champions Alliance. We are very honored that you're all here today to share this day with us all together. So first of all, before we start into the issues that we want to discuss today, I want to thank everyone from the team who is behind the scenes and downstairs and helped us prepare this event. We've been working for this for a couple of months now, almost half a year I think we started talking about this event. So thank you everyone for helping. You will recognize us with the badges, and also it's written on our badges here that we're from the team, so thanks to everyone. We also want to, thank you. Because as you imagine, there's a lot of logistics going on behind the scenes. I also want to thank, of course, our sponsors, without whom this day would not have been possible. You see them here on the screen. Thank you very much, because, of course, we would not have been able to finance all of this only with the memberships that we have at the European Champions Alliance, but it's very important for us to have that support to organize, you know, the room, the catering, and everything that you see. So thank you very much for that. They're all here today, and you see it also on their badges. They have a green sponsor label on their badge, so you can thank them for being here today. So let me recall why we're here today and the mission that we have at the European Champions Alliance. So what we're trying to do at the European Champions Alliance, and for those who do not know it yet, we are a non-for-profit organization founded 5 years ago in Europe, I would say. So we're having our 5th anniversary this year. So our mission is that we want startups founded in Europe to take the technological lead in key technologies of the future. We want them to remain in European hands. Of course, that has also financial implications. And support and protect our citizens and industries in the digital age. So really the idea for us is to create those European champions. So the mission is basically in our name. And we met 2 years ago. We met in Paris for the same kind of gathering as today. It was the ECA Tech Summit 2023 in Paris. And since then, a lot of things happen. And I just want to name a few of them. We talked also about the same kind of topics that we have today: cybersecurity, cloud, AI, quantum, sustainability. And a lot of things have changed, of course, in the last 2 years. We have published our last cybersecurity mapping, and you will see the QR code down in the coffee room where you can download it if you want. We have about 800 companies mapped in this mapping from 20 countries in 16 categories. And what we've seen is a 40% increase in cybersecurity companies since our last mapping, which was in 2022. But still, the landscape is very fragmented. So there are a lot of small companies all over Europe, you know, about over 800. I think we might have 60% of the market, or maybe 65, 70% of the market in this mapping. So it's a lot of companies. And very few companies are really big players. So we have about 10 companies that make about 75 million in revenue in Europe in cybersecurity. And this is about 10% of the scale that we can see in the US. So there are a lot of challenges, of course, and opportunities in the field of cybersecurity. For cloud computing, it's a little bit the same. So we have excellent providers in France, Germany, Switzerland, all over Europe, but you know, the size is still not at the size that we would like it to be. And we have a lot of non-European giants, of course, in Europe that still persist. And we'll talk about that also. When we talk about AI and quantum, we think that the story is a little bit brighter. The landscape has evolved rapidly. And while the US might have deeper pockets than we do, we still have very, very good companies, very bright engineers, and very good entrepreneurs also in Europe. Just to name a few, Aleph Alpha in the room somewhere. Maybe he can raise his hand if he's already here. Okay, no, he will come later maybe. Other ones that you know, like Leiten, Mistral, Helsing, of course, And in quantum, we have great companies in France like Pascal, Candela, Alice and Bob, but also Quanticore or Quantum Factory from Germany, for example. So now we must focus on the execution. We need to protect our data. We need to address the rising challenges in cyber and embrace all of the potential that we have in Europe. The difference between 2 years ago and now is clear. Back then, we discussed why those issues are important. And today, we want to talk how we can act on them and how we can solve them. And so I want to leave you into this day with a statement, with a quote. I don't know, does anyone know who said this? No one will ever guess if no one knows. So this is a quote from Mother Teresa, actually. So she says, if everyone would sweep in front of their own doorstep, the world would be much cleaner. And this is maybe a little bit what defines us today here. You know that the European Champions Alliance is fueled only by volunteers, so no one of us is paid for what we do here. We try to sweep in front of our own doorstep and would like to invite you to sweep in front of yours. And so the world would be much cleaner and brighter, I guess. And so now I hand over to Michel to tell us how we're going to do that.
So good morning from my side too. So for those who organize that type of event, you know that it takes a while, and as I say in German, there is a whole Rattenschwanz, so kind of to organize that type of stuff. So needless to say that I'm quite happy that to see you all this morning here, because it means also that the prep time is over, and that we're going to see if what we cooked is going to be, because cooking is my hobby. So we're going to see if what we cooked is going to be something which is going to be matching your appetite, but I think so. I mean, I know quite a fair amount of the people that are in the room. So we organized that event because I'm going to spend some time on the agenda. We actually organize that event to make sure that it's the beginning of a journey. So we don't expect at the end of the day to have concrete results saying we have the answers to the challenges that we're going to throw at you. And by the way, all those challenges were defined with our sponsors. So there is also an expectation to get some results. But obviously, again, it's not about having a battle plan. It's only understanding how do we want to move forward and who is interested to move forward together. To that end, we have built an agenda which is mainly trying to make sure that we inspire you a bit with a few keynotes. Then we have panels which have tremendous power, I believe, and interesting topics. There is a lot of time for networking, be it in the breaks, whereby the breaks are maybe a bit short, but there is 75 minutes during lunch. I'll come to that later again. And then we have breakouts. Those breakouts are only 90 minutes long, except for one which is lasting 3 hours, but 90 plus 90. If you have your ticket, by the way, you will see that at the back, you normally have also an allocation. If you don't have one, don't be afraid. It's not because we don't want to have you in a breakout. Just reach out to us and we'll allocate you. Yeah? And if you disagree with what is at the back, most of the time you normally got an email from us saying if you want to be in another one, let us know. Then again, let us know today. Yeah? We just try to make sure that we mix up the right people. And what I did since I left SAP is basically also running a lot of workshops where, and my belief is that innovation and new things and new ideas are coming from encounters which are kind of surprising. So it's not getting people that know each other for 25 years that you're going to generate something new. It's most of the time getting people that are actually not expecting to meet. And that's the way we've built those agendas. We have very experienced moderators in each of them. We have a set of 5 in the morning, and then breakouts, and then 5 in the afternoon. Rolf Schumann, which you will see from Schwarz Digit, is only going to join us roughly at lunchtime because he's landing from the US this morning. He should have landed 10 minutes ago. And he's going to do the closing speech, but he's really going to be with us as of lunchtime, roughly, until the whole time. Yeah? So don't hesitate to hijack him, so to say. But be cautious, he has bodyguards, so hijacking, yeah. So that's that. One more thing, you have seen where we're going to have lunch, where we do the break, is at the bottom, where you were when you got your tickets, which means there is a certain time to go up and down. We're going to be using a gong at certain times, like my wife did before, to let you know in 5 minutes we would expect you somewhere, like this sound. Okay? What else? So I think the password was already shown. One more thing that I want to add is actually tonight we have a performance, because yes, we're talking about the future, we're talking about new technologies, but actually Lola is an opera singer. So she does classical singing, but she tried to disrupt that industry too. And we created with Experience One, I don't know if Kai is in the room, but he will be there later. So we created a clone, so she's going to be singing tonight leveraging AI. So the music is you're going to be surprised. It's not going to be here, because the sound wouldn't be optimal. It's going to be up there. So I would tell you, stay there, be there to enjoy it. At lunch, we'll probably give you the occasion to kind of interact with Lola's clone. But she will be there too, but you can also then take the 2.0 version, so to say. And I think that's it. And as I said, I mean, one of the things that we want to do is try to find and define our purpose as a Europe. And with that, I hand over to Emma, and enjoy the day.
Thank you. So hi, everyone. Welcome. A very warm welcome. So that's an interesting date, if I may, right? Because as we speak, we have the AI Action Summit in Paris. And, 1,500 top leaders in the world are basically cooking probably the recipe, like, Michel was telling, what's going to happen to us. So I hope for good news tonight. I mean, Macron has been announcing already the 100 billion investment, so we know what it means. And then there is a Champions Alliance, cooking as well with 150 billion. But just think of a dozen of countries in EU, if they would be really investing, they are contributing their fair share, we would be at the 500 billion mark we're looking for. So, that's something to think of. And I personally really deeply believe that the values we share in Europe are the ones we have been, making our purposeful innovation. I mean, the freedom, really the freedom of thought, as well the equity. I think this is so fundamental that we keep all of this. And the freedom is probably, the one thing I'm so attached to, that I would like us as well to think of this. And, if you think of Europe and what we have to do, I believe as well that we have a unique opportunity right now to really make sure that technology is going to be there to serve humanity and for the greater good.